Hey, welcome back to Pampas, the show where we explore how the places we experience shape the way we live at home. I'm Jules, and today we are going to be doing something really special. We are walking through my personal office. I love this office. It's where I work on Travel with Jules, where I write, where I create, and honestly where some of my best thinking happens. So let's get into this behind the scenes look into my design thought process. Let's start with the before because context matters. And honestly, this is not really a true before. When I first moved here, it was a bachelor pad and I immediately went into action. So I didn't really document the true before. I immediately was like, okay, how can I make this better? How can I use what we have here already to make it at least as presentable as possible with what we had. So that's what this before picture actually represents. When I was starting to think about the design that I wanted, I didn't start with the mood board. I really started with the feeling. I asked myself, how do I want to feel every time I step into this office? And the answer was, I wanted to feel energized yet calm. I wanted to feel like my creativity could flourish here. I wanted to feel grounded. So everything that you see in this office, the texture, the colors, the object, is all in service to that feeling. The number one question I receive about my office is, what wall color is this? And it is Sherwin-Williams Carly's Rose. Once I knew the feeling that I wanted to have when I stepped into my office, I immediately went to Pinterest and started looking up this different inspiration ideas, and I was really gravitating towards this dusty rose color. So when I went to Sherwin-Williams, I picked up a few shades, but this one really stood out to me. It's one of my favorite parts about the office. It's everything. It's sophisticated, it's warm, it makes me feel creative. I brought a few of the pampas grass in my Atlanta home into this space, and I love how the warm undertones of the wall color complement the natural beige of the grass perfectly. One thing I love to do is pair different textures, and here we have a travertine stone incense holder paired with this wooden stool, which provides just the sort of grounded energy I wanted in the space. One thing I'm a firm believer of is making the best of what you have right now. As someone who loves to improve things and I'm constantly viewing the world through the lens of how can I make this better, I have to teach myself patience that you want things to be perfect right away, but it really is beauty in the journey. So when I moved into this house, I had to teach myself some patience because it's like, okay, it's not immediately gonna look exactly like you want, right? You're not immediately gonna have everything you want right away, but how can you bring joy into the moment regardless of it may not be exactly what you want right now, because life doesn't stop. So that being said, we don't have a dedicated fitness space right now, so I also wanted to make sure that I included in my office a wellness space where I had everything that I needed to do yoga, stretch, work out, everything. That being said, in one corner of my office, I have this beautiful bag that I got in Mauritius during one of my birthday trips. And it has my yoga mat, a foam roller, and a few fitness accessories. So it's a dedicated space where I have, everything I need to just incorporate those fitness breaks throughout the day because I'm constantly on the computer, responding to emails, creating. Office is also a space where I showcase some of my favorite travel memories, like these seashells from all around the world, crystals that I've picked up. I got this sound bowl from my solo trip to Vietnam, and it's a special part of my meditation practice. I got this beaded ostrich from my first trip to South Africa, which is special because it was my first time outside the country. I think a lot about how the things that we surround ourselves with communicates to our nervous system. And that's why I'm really intentional about everything that I put in here, because the world is already overstimulating enough. So I want within my control to create an environment where, I can have a sense of relief and ease and peace and just freedom to create and to become who I want to become. It's one of my favorite spots in the office. And okay, I know I keep on saying favorite, but literally there's nothing that I don't like in my office. Like, everything is my favorite. So that being said, back to one of my favorite corners in the office. One thing about me is that I really love personal development. I'm always constantly trying to become a better version of myself. Those are some of my favorite books that I've read. They're thoroughly highlighted. Any of them has really impacted the way that I am and interact with the world. I absolutely adore this painting that sort of anchors the books. It's a visual representation of what I call into my life. This piece is essentially a vision board in art form. When I look at it, I see ease. I see a woman moving through life with intention and grace rather than force and struggle, and that's the energy that I'm actively calling into my life. Okay, desk tour. This is something that I get asked about a lot, and it's one way figure I will link it below. I love the color. I lean into a lot of natural textures in the office, so this helps with that. And another thing about me is that I do not like clutter. So I try to keep the desk as minimalist as possible. I feel like I think better when my space is neat. Here I have a photo of me as a baby and a photo of when I started Travel Jewels 10 years ago. Both very special memories. I have some trinkets from my wedding. I have my husband's vow book close by, and then the seashell was part of my wedding flat lay. Okay, quick tip, but very important. If you want to hide those cords, a basket is an easy way to get some decor in, but also be very functional with hiding the cords and just keeping things organized. If I didn't have this, I would have an unsightly surge protector in there. There's a bunch of things that I just don't want to see on the daily, so this is a nice hat for organization. One of the most recent additions to my office was this rug from Revival. As you can see, it makes a big difference in helping the office feel finished and just bringing everything together in one cohesive look. I have something to share that I think is a really interesting conversation around space and identity. So when I first posted my office transformation on TikTok, the response is overwhelmingly positive. I'm still getting a lot of comments to this day about it. But there were a few comments about people didn't like where I placed my diplomas on the wall, which is directly in front of my desk. And here's my honest take about that. I love where my diplomas are. My diplomas sit directly in front of me, so I can see it every single day, and that's not by accident. I'm a first-generation college graduate. I went on to attend one of the top public health schools in the country for my master's degrees. They represent sacrifice, they represent resilience, they represent doors that a lot of the people in my family were not able to go through. So that's why I love it there. Could I have put it on this wall? Yes. But I intentionally left that wall open and blank because I have plans for it. Blank wall here, which I've been going back and forth on what I want to do with it. Part of me, I strongly feel that you don't have to have something on every wall, right? So it's okay that this wall is blank. It provides some space and balance. But I have tinkered with the idea of doing different things. So I left it blank because at one point I thought maybe I wanted to get one of those big wall calendars so I could like outline my goals. So I thought about adding that to here. And then also I have these beautiful monochromatic frames that I'm considering doing a gallery wall for. The thing that I wanna work on in the office is replacing this office chair. I'm ready for something more chic. So if you have any suggestions for office chairs, please let me know in the comments because I'm definitely on the market for a replacement. So let me know what's working for you. Okay, so that's my office. I really hope you enjoyed this episode and that you took away not just design inspiration, but just remembering that your office, your space in general should not be about what's trending, but it should truly be a reflection of you. Stay tuned for next week's episode where I take a deep dive into my guest bedrooms. And not to toot my own horn, but my guest bedrooms are amazing. I get so many compliments, people don't want to leave. I'll see you next time. Subscribe, like, and share.